Why did God create women? Well, all the way back in the garden, while the world was first being created, we read this. Then the Lord God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper fit for him." So, was Eve created simply to be Adam's assistant? Were women created to help men get stuff done? Well, the English translation of this verse might seem to suggest that, but when we dig into the original Hebrew, we discover the picture is much richer than we think. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm in Logos, and let's right-click on this word helper. And we can see that the Hebrew word there is ezer, and it simply means help or assistance. So that seems pretty straightforward. But when we do a Bible word study, things get interesting. So here we have a translation chart that shows every way that English translations render this word ezer, and it's all about help or helpers. So let's scroll down and do a textual search of the Hebrew Bible, where we see the word ezer is used 16 times. And let's look at how the rest of the Old Testament uses it. Exodus 18:4, Moses names his son Eliezer because he says, "The God of my father was my help, my ezer." Psalm 121, "My help, my ezer, comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth." Psalm 146:5, "Blessed is he whose help, whose ezer, is the God of Jacob." Notice what we're seeing. The very same Hebrew word used to describe Eve is repeatedly used to describe God as the one who helps his people. So the modern idea of an assistant who's sort of subordinate to their boss isn't what we're seeing here. God isn't inferior to Israel, and so the word itself doesn't suggest that Eve was merely Adam's assistant or somehow inferior to him. No, Genesis presents the woman as the indispensable companion that God created to provide the help that Adam couldn't supply for himself. It's not about rank or status. The woman is God's gracious provision for what was lacking in the man.